Yeah, well, it can be a sheet, but it's not a main. It's not a main doc or main sheet because this is not an entity.
Yeah, so it's just spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's just a normal sheet, the methodology sheet. It can still be capital SHEET. It's fine. It's just not a main sheet. It's a project sheet. All right. All right. So topic. Oh, I was gonna say one other thing, but I forget what it was. Oh, well. Let's just go on topic number 2. Oh, I remember. It is extremely important that the methodology proposal is part of onboarding. So I don't know where that fits in, but I just want to note that since we're talking about onboarding a lot, right? That the methodology proposal must be part of onboarding. Okay?
So what do you mean with the methodology proposal?
So for example, when people fill out the intake form, the methodology proposal is in there that they agree to the terms of involvement. Right? So part of our recruitment process ensures that every single new potential recruit, volunteer, anyone agrees to the methodology. It's like part of our process. So like when you go on a web page, you go to Facebook, or you open a CD case or anything, you are agreeing to the terms of service, right? It's like a legal agreement to the terms of service. If you want to get involved with the FCAN Community Network, you have to agree to the terms of involvement, which is our methodology proposal. You have to agree to the methodology in order to join.
Does this exist?
Yes, everybody agrees to the methodology proposal. That's part of the process of the recruitment with the intake form, right? It also is part of the process with the all the planetary sessions are supposed to start with the methodology proposal, but of course we don't do those, so we don't really get to it there. So we just need to make sure that the methodology proposal is in multiple places in the onboarding process, because if we don't do the intake form, we skip the intake form, then they still need to do the methodology proposal. Okay?
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure that is part of the onboarding process, and it's part of the intake form, and it's part of our, at least some of the, obviously all of our public sessions basically need to include the methodology proposal, because anyone who's involved in a public session obviously is part, and anyone on the team would need to agree to it. So it's just like, it's kind of like an entry component. It's like, you're agreeing to the methodology proposal because that's our methodology. If you don't agree to it, obviously you can't be involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I never agreed to this. I never saw it.
I mean, the only reason would be because you might have not done the intake form.
No.
Right?
No.
So, I mean, let's just make sure we cover that real quick, because it's extremely important. If we're talking about methodology and we're not talking about the methodology proposal, we have a problem. All right. So, I mean, maybe this is something. Let's just add this in real quick as topic 1.5. Okay.
Okay.
So topic 1.5 is the proposal. So this is the methodology proposal. Methodology proposal. So we have the methodology framework, and now we have the methodology proposal. So all of the methodology eventually ends up in the methodology proposal. Okay.
Yeah.
Get it. So this is going to be do a quick search. Methodology proposal. Oh, I saw it for a second. It disappeared. Why did it disappear? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking for it as well. I'm looking for the intake form, actually.
Intake form. Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it.
Methodology doc. Okay, so we have a methodology doc. So methodology has always been a project, right? We always knew it was a project. We're just creating a P team that it needs a scheduled regular team, because evaluation is not enough. Yeah. So I believe it's the Unity methodology introduction proposal. So let's make sure we link all this stuff. So here's the methodology doc.
Thank you.
Methodology doc, and you've seen the virtual drawer, right, with all the virtual office drawer stuff, which has a link to all the projects. So methodology is just one of our projects.
Yeah,
We just
yes.
need to prioritize it into a team level because the evaluation team, which should be dealing with it, is not dealing with it and is never going to deal with it. You know. All right. So there's the methodology doc, and then I believe this is it here: the Unity methodology introduction proposal. Unity methodology proposal to approve the Unity methodology in all Unity policies, protocols, guidelines, systems, and processes. That's the proposal. It's a very simple proposal. Everybody just needs to agree to it. All right, and then you have the link to vote. So this is the what we call the Unity methodology proposal. On line 11.
Yeah. I found the intake form editable link.
Right.
I found the intake form editable link.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we always create a new intake form for every new one.
Yeah, I mean, we should.
The comprehensive plan is part of this methodology, and I don't believe the comprehensiveplan.com works anymore, so that's a problem. So we're going to need to address the methodology of the comprehensive plan not working.
Also, the Unity theory, I don't know, the website doesn't work.
All right. Well, we'll address that later. I'm obviously So all of this needs to be improved. The whole methodology and the methodology and proposal, all the links need to be working. Lots of things to do there. Okay.
All right. This is amazing. Can't believe I've never seen this.
Yeah, I mean, this is the foundation to all of it. And our policy, our methodology is a book, right? Like eventually, when we compile all the methodology together, it'll be a big, huge, fat book because it is endless. Like there's no end to the methodology. It doesn't stop. The only question is how much can we compile together, and how to prioritize what goes in the front pages. All right. So, anyways, we'll get back to that. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we knew
the comprehensive plan. Yeah, that's what. This I saw. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the comprehensive plan includes the methodology. But I just wanted to make sure it was clear that it was essential that this is part of our onboarding. And if it hasn't been part of our onboarding, it is a huge problem. And it's beyond just onboarding. It's like this is our public interaction point. So anytime we interact with the public, first thing that you do is you approve the basically the terms of involvement. That's what we call it. So terms of involvement is the legal terms.
Yeah, this is it's my focus for this month is this onboarding, training, getting all of that organized. Because what I feel is that in two words, right? Bare honesty, people don't take us serious. This is what I feel, like.
Of course not.
Yeah. They don't take the work serious. They don't take us serious. So it's our mistake, right? It's our mistake because they jump in and we tell them it's up to you to work. It's up to you to step up. I say okay, I'll do whatever I want, right? And instead, if we had a very organized and well onboarding trainings, things will be much better.
Well, let's prioritize the training process and all of that. I mean, we've worked a lot on it. We just need to keep moving it forward.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's all there. We were also starting to doing that, but yeah, I mean, this is what we're gonna talk now in the next topic of SVG and FKN relationship, I guess. So the Unity theory now it's working. Great. Okay. You just fixed it?
It's just a comprehensive plan that doesn't seem to be working. Oh. All right. So in terms of the terms of involvement in the Unity methodology proposal, It should be part of the setup of all public sessions. So any public session, any new person should automatically be required to approve. I mean, basically, they are automatically approving it by participating, right? But we want to go beyond just, what's called the unwrap legal terms. We want people to actually agree to this so that they also are empowered to change it. That's the whole point of having everyone agree to it, is for them to understand that they are also empowered to change it. And that also fits into Sensei. All right, and then from there, we obviously part of recruitment. It needs to be part of recruitment. I think it should be part of the W8 and W9 process, that basically once per year, everybody reaffirms their commitment to the methodology. I think that could be a baseline, or somewhere else somehow. I mean, it should just be a regular part of like a bunch of different components of the organization, where the methodology proposal is just like automatic. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And this W8, W9, they need to be updated every year, right? So this is the first work that should have been done, and we didn't do it.
Yeah, but I think it would be good to start the W8 and W9 process with the methodology proposal, basically being like, look, this is the foundation to your legal relationship with the organization. That's what the W8s and W9s and W4s is. So the Unity methodology it emphasizes that commitment in that relationship. So I think that's a good place to have it.
Yeah, because I'm working on it. I'm creating the 1099 system, which is
we'll figure out more places to put it over time for sure. Yeah. This could be a good start. Oh, and also it might be, maybe we even put it into we could even go so far as like, add to POPs, add to temporary hire proposals. So temporary hire proposals could be like, okay, number 6 is yes or no agreement to methodology and public accountability, right? Just like it might just be that important that literally every single temporary hire proposal, it's included, right? Every single POP, everyone writes on their POP, yes, I agree to the methodology proposal. Yes, I agree to public accountability, so that everybody understands that the foundation to everything that we do is public accountability and transparency of all of our policies and our methods and everything. Okay. So I don't know if you want to do that.
We want to include the written agreement in the POP, or in the, because I mean, I'm definitely going to include the link in the main doc, right? The important links.
Yeah, we can.
But this should happen. This should happen before.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But these are all details that are priorities that we need to add to our priority list. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go on to topic 2. This will be pretty quick. So let me just get a couple minutes here, like 3-4 minutes, to just describe where I'm at. If you want to go first, you're welcome to, but I basically have, it's not really a proposal, but it's just like, it's going to be a proposal.
Yeah, right. So if you let me go first, I think it could be beneficial, so that also you can explain it better. I'm going to be very quick.
Okay.
Because it's something that I already said in the eval session. So my biggest concern is that when we decided to launch SVG, and we said, all right, we're gonna put in standby most of FQN. We never really we should have made a list, a very clear list of what we are putting in standby, what we're ignoring, and what should keep going into SVG, right? So that was very confusing, and I finally realized. I finally got hold on it only during our last eval session, right? So, so this is where I got a lot confused and created a lot of problems for me to also work properly, and I lost a lot of things, and as a result, the result was this work on the 1099s, which was really terrible. So yeah, I mean, I think it's very important that we make a list of understand what it's applicable to. It's always applicable, right? So, and
I
instead
mean,
what it's in standby.
it's not like we didn't make any list. I mean, we did cover that. There was that one day where we went over, okay, we are no longer going to be working on planetary sessions. We're no longer going to be working on, our normal, operations and all that stuff. And instead we're focusing on SVG and getting client work instead, right? So we went over some of that. We just didn't really document it well. I mean, this comes back to like the opposite of what Joyce is saying. It's so important to document it and make sure it's really clear so that it can be reviewed and evaluated over time. And that's what we didn't do.
Yes, exactly. And for
The
me, it
biggest
was
problem was that we didn't talk about it. We just didn't. We didn't establish it. We didn't document it.
Yeah, and for me, I created for me a huge misunderstanding. Huge misunderstanding that I'm just now starting. The evil session was a milestone for that. That I'm now just starting to understand how it should have been since the beginning, right? Because I dropped the ball on everything, so many things that I shouldn't have. Because
I mean, for me, I think it's all about that SVG supports FQN, and it's all one and the same. I mean, SVG is a branch of FQN. One of the important things to understand about the model of FQN Community Network is that it's not an organization, right? We know it's not an organization, and eventually we're going to FQN, FQV, Frequency Quantified Vortex. Oh my God, I love the name. It's just so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of the whole, in essence, modeling is that these are resources that are available for basically the public, and anyone can partner with us and collaborate with us and basically offer our services as their brand, right? We don't care about the brand. So another way of thinking of SVG is we're rebranding all of FQN as SVG, and SVG is basically just a more professional way to present FQN, but it's the same thing, right? It's definitely funneling some of the details of FQN into a much more simplified version that's easier for the public to grasp and understand. But in every essence, SVG is FQN. They're basically the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, now it does. I had a total misunderstanding on that. I thought there were two different things. So now I understand it.
It's frequency quantified vortex. FQV. Right. So and Vortex sounds so much more exciting than just a network, And like what I love about Vortex is that, but just by saying the word Vortex, you visualize movement. Whereas you say web, network, like
Yeah, it's so
organization,
true.
there's
Yeah.
no movement. There's no movement. There's no evolution. There's not. As soon as you say the word vortex, boom, movement, changing, dynamic, evolving.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
automatic in the vocabulary of humanity. It's beautiful. All right.
yeah, it's so
Going
powerful. Yeah, it's very
so powerful. So going back to this how important SVG is extremely important, and it's possible in my mind that the primary goal is SVG is in essence, and you look at our launch plan, the primary goal is and has always been the website. Getting the website set up, getting the website professional, and getting the website presentable to the public so that we could launch it, right? But if you think about it, it's also possible that we took basically a 6-month break from the broader FQN to basically birth this SVG and the SVG website that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And yes, we're not done with the 2-over, but in the next couple of weeks, we can just zip through the 2-over and then realize that was the goal. It might be that the primary goal as SVG is literally the public-facing website that is the most professional website we have in the entire network. And that could be game-changing on every level, right? And so that's might actually be enough. We might actually never need to do the whole public launching and the advertising. I mean, yes, we're going to do social media and all that, but maybe that's not the primary goal. Maybe the primary goal was literally just having the website so that everyone takes us more seriously, right? So if that's true, which it doesn't necessarily have to be, again, going back to the primary goal, and eventually, we'll talk about trajectories and stuff. The primary goal is income, right? We need income, and we have 5 different potential sources of income, like I noted before. Do we need to go over them again, or I just skip
No,
this one?
no, no, no. I have them noted in
Okay,
many
we have
many
the
places.
5 different possible options for, and SVG is one of those 5. So there's 4 other ones, and all 4 of those are equally important. And the direction that I'm going, we'll obviously talk much more about this in relationship to the methodology, is that it might actually be much more advantageous, more stable, more lucrative, and more functional long term to just create a balanced trajectory moving forward where we do all 5 simultaneously, right? We do the grants, we do the investments, we do our sponsorship. We just do it, right? So what would that potentially mean in terms of the relationship? So basically the pre-proposal is to slow down the SVG launch and instead launch all 5 income opportunities simultaneously, right? So that's the general idea of the pre-proposal.
Yeah,
So what does that
exactly.
mean in terms
So
of the relationship? So in terms of the relationship, the pre-proposal for the relationship is simply this: that the primary focus of this whole process is the website, and what we need is a new, in essence, portal for possibly FQV or whatever we decide to call it. Basically, it's basically FQN, the frequency FQN community network, right? Or community vortex. Maybe it's the FQN community vortex. I don't know, whatever we want to call it, doesn't really matter. But the point is that we have like a portal website. We could use one of our existing URLs if we want, but it would basically contain very, very simple. It doesn't need to be super professional, but it needs to be as professional as possible, knowing that our primary professional website is SVG, right? So it would link. It would basically be a portal to link our primary programs and overall work of FQN, right? So obviously it's going to include SVG, and SVG would be our most professional front, right? But then we would also have the other websites that we know we need. We know we need this support alliance, and this would be for life support and board support. We know we need sponsorship webpage, which we already have. We would just need to link it, and then we could just decide what else we wanted to link there. So they would be similar to basically, fqn.mo or the index.wc.tc, except we would curate, instead of the index, which has like 100 websites, we would just curate, the top 3 to 5 websites to basically link. They could be these big, huge, circles, or we could set it up similar to SVG where there's all these different links. I think overall it might just be one single page that scrolls down. So kind of how some of those web pages, they just like scroll down, as you go through different parts, and you can have like different parts of the page link directly to it, and it just kind of goes up and down. But the point is that let's just create an overarching portal of all of the active websites that we know we need now, and have it be like an umbrella, right? Because basically SVG is one branch. So we're going to have the support alliance, we're going to have the sponsorship. What else do we need, right? And then once we have that all set up, it's done, right? And then that would be the umbrella, and then SVG would be the main front for the professional client services.
Yeah.
And then we would just do it all, right? Because I think that maybe it's the equity. I don't know. There's a bunch of options of other websites that we could do. But the idea is
Yeah.
just to list and create this really beautiful introductory portal to the big picture of what we're doing, and then showcase our best websites. That only
Yeah.
put polished, finished, really nice websites, starting with SVG, the support alliance, and the sponsorship, so that it encapsulates our entire program of what we're offering to the public now. And once we have that, I think it's just, it's all about scaling.
Yeah, exactly. So scaling. So I want to make a step back, because this time you're kind of skipping ahead, because for you it was very clear in your head, right? For me it was. So what I want to say to make a step back. So I agree perfectly, and that's why I believe that it's coming back, because okay, what you said is perfect. So the primary goal was to 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 have the website of SVG, launch SVG. So and and you're right that maybe if we didn't just boom drop everything on anything else and just focus on that, it couldn't happen, right? Or it wouldn't happen. So, and now that we're so close, I mean, this is happening, right? So it's moving forward. Now that we're so close, we're bringing back FQN, basically. So we're bringing back the relationship between SVG and FQN. All right, perfect. We're launching, but hey, wait a second. We're not doing policy tracking. We're not doing that. That's not onboarding, training. Everything is not happening, right? So I believe that's perfect. So we did this 6 months where we got so close. Now we have SVG is basically, I don't know, it's basically ready to launch. It's just, we could launch in 2-3 weeks, no problem, I think. But I think we need to slow down, because we need to bring back where we were before you left for Europe. Because where we were there, I mean, things were going pretty well, or between, at least me and you, between the model, the things were on top of everything. We had the whole work plan, we had the 1-year plan, we were doing big improvements on the functionality of the model. What happened is that, exactly, I mean, there's no point in having a super function model and then go broke. So let's focus on getting the income, and create something that we know that will bring income. And now we're bringing back a lot of FQN finally, which is so important. So what I believe, I think we can do all of this, absolutely. There's no problem. As long as we, in this moment, we slow down a little bit, we bring the back of the rest of the team on the same page. I also need to go back on the right page as I was maybe June or July. And then, I mean, I think we can scale. We will create the foundation to make everything scalable, meaning that we wanna develop another income opportunity. Boom, it's gonna be very professional, very organized, and it's just gonna blend in. So I'm definitely agree with you that we can work on all these income sources at the same time, no problem, as long as now we slow down a little bit and we focus on our basics, right? Which we're doing, right? So bringing back policy keeping, bringing back the worker criteria, bringing back tactical ops the right way, bringing back all of this onboarding training that it's so important, because the rest of the team is just not on the same page. So when I work with the rest of the team, I do everything, right? And it's so difficult to just make them read, right, the responsibility organizing sometimes. No, I said, oh look, it's written there what you need to do, what I'm asking you to do. Can you do step 2 of responsibility organizing. Just read what is there, and this is our fault because we haven't trained them. And the way that I feel that the new workers are coming, right? Mainly Joyce and mainly Joyce. I don't want to make the mistake. Moth seems very professional, but Mamoon is just he doesn't care. Right? Mamoon is just I don't know, man. Mamoon, whatever he can contribute, I'm fine, whatever. But I lost. I mean, whatever. But I mean, Joyce, for example, it's very difficult to get her focus, to get her to work professionally, and because we didn't do the right onboarding, the right training, we didn't we didn't, I don't know, bring her on the same page as us. So I feel that we are in a very good situation with SVG, right? So it's ready to launch. So definitely, it's not I'm saying that we need to stop working on SVG. No, we need to keep working on SVG. As I agree with you, we can also start working on other income sources, no problem. But as long as we focus and we build, we bring back, or we strengthen our basics again, so that the whole team is on the same page. The whole team is working in the way that it's supposed and is expected to be working, so that we know that the work is happening and it's moving forward in the way that it needs to be. Otherwise, we
well,
go back, me and you, in doing everything. There's no point, right?
yeah. Well, it goes back to what we were talking about before, which is the list of everything that is put on standby. Okay. So it comes back to that, because basically what we're saying, okay, what do we bring back? I mean, obviously, both of us have very different perspectives as what we're bringing back and what, keeping me. Like, I don't remember ever saying like, oh, we're getting rid of all of our policies and we're getting rid of all of our policy tracking. We're getting rid of all of our,
Yeah,
doing
I agree. It was
work.
my misunderstanding, complete my misunderstanding. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right. So I don't remember ever saying that stuff. So I mean, but one thing that is definitely clear, we definitely stopped recruitment. We said we are cutting the budget. We've cut the budget by like over 60%, maybe over 70%, maybe more. I don't even know, from before Europe. I mean, this is like a long, long time ago. We were spending a lot of money with Laura, and like, so we had like 10 people at one point, right? And all the recruitment and everything, and it was just like we were just burning money trying to get functional again, and it didn't work. I remember the meeting where we were just like, this is not happening. We're not getting functional. It's like we're just blowing a whole bunch of money and it's not necessarily helping, right? So we just made the decision, and we, obviously fired 90% of the people who were involved back then. And it's just, there's no way to redo what we were then with 90% less people, right?
Exactly.
And so we have to, work with what we have, until we get more resources and more funds, which I think through these income opportunities, we will eventually bring some funds in. But for me, the foundation to our systems is the recruitment process. And without any recruitment, I don't think we can ever go back to where we were before. So for me, I'm not ready to put a recruitment back as a priority, because what are we going to recruit? Like, what can we recruit? I mean, we're just cutting, right? We're still cutting. So it's like, until we can put recruitment back, it's almost impossible to even attempt to go back to that point. And it's going to be very hard to bring in the people in serious space to be able to move the organization forward until we stabilize on that front, and I mean, even with the investments, I mean, we've always known we need to do the investments. That was part of my goal, was basically all this stuff, focusing on the investments over time so that we could know how much money we have. We still don't know how much money we have, right? And it's just like, it's ridiculous. So we can put so much time and effort into SVG, and it's just like, okay, everybody is serious about SVG. How can we do that to the investments? So I have an idea on that, and I want to at least attempt to do that. So it's like, I agree with you on some level. Like, let's, bring back as much as we can, but also realistically, what we need to do, let's make sure this is a clear responsibility here, which is like, a clear list of what we are and are not.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's really, really important. And I think that right now, recruitment is not on the list.
yeah, no, I never said recruitment actually, but it's part
I
of
know, but it
recruitment.
needs to be.
Yeah,
But what you did say is that you want to go back to being functional, and we're not going to be functional without recruitment. Recruitment is one of the key core pillars to FQN. Without recruitment, the whole system doesn't function.
no, I agree with you, and absolutely, I'm not saying yeah. I say let's not going back to where we're all right exactly, but I mean
We need to
let's
move forward. Yeah, that's
yeah
what I'm saying.
we need to move forward, and what I believe we are moving forward, but we are moving forward too quickly, and for me as well, I lost the North Star, let's say, right? Yeah, that's how I feel, right? Because I'm just ashamed of myself how we we dealt with the 1099s, right? So, and
Well,
it
good.
was my misunderstanding for sure. It was my misunderstanding, and we can do a list or not. I mean, we should have done the list before, I believe, to avoid this
Well, let's just make a
misunderstanding.
spreadsheet. Like,
What?
let's just start with like a simple spreadsheet that lists what we are and are not, for FQN.
Yeah, we
And then
can
this
take
can always be.
yeah, we can make a copy of the all work
No,
plan.
no, 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 no. Let's keep it. Let's start it really simple. Start with a blank spreadsheet. Keep very, very simple, because this is also part of our modeling for the new Vortex model. Everything
Okay.
needs to start very, very simple. Everything comes from one thing, and it always starts very simple. And it's like we want to have as few trajectories as possible. So another way we could think of this would be the beginning, right? The beginning of our new trajectory list, right? So we want to list only the most essential trajectories, and we list them out, and then we say what we're prioritizing, what we're not prioritizing, but basically everything should be included in as few trajectories as possible. Whereas the old model was that, okay, let's just list everything and have it all listed. And that's not what we want to do. We want to try to only focus on the, there's three types of trajectories. There are the umbrella trajectories, the primary trajectories, or like the main trajectories, and then you have the sub trajectories. Okay. So all of those 100 priorities in the all work plan need to fit into either a primary trajectory, a main trajectory, or a sub trajectory. And ideally, we could keep the number of primary trajectories to as few as possible. Like, I mean, we have such a small team. How can we even possibly consider focusing on more than, like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 trajectories simultaneously? I mean, it's very, very difficult. So our goal is to have as few as possible.
Right. So basically, the term trajectory is substituting the term category
But they're not the
or
same thing.
system.
But it's similar, but they're different. And I'll go into more and more detail about what a trajectory is, how it's different from just like a normal category or a project or a priority. The trajectory is again, it's part of the vortex, and it's dynamic, and it's ever changing, it's evolving. And the trajectory, in essence, is more of an experience than a category. And the trajectory itself can change and evolve, but a category doesn't change or evolve. Okay.
Very cool. Yeah.
So we'll go into the trajectories and defining and understanding them, but we can start with the current all work list and then just start matching them up with trajectories. Like, let's give like the most important trajectory of all is what we call the prime trajectory, right? So I'm kind of skipping ahead to the next topic, which is going over our overall models and the models vocabulary and everything like that. So when we get into the model for the vortex model and the trajectories, there's three types of trajectories, right? Or there's three trajectories, like in terms of like at any time, there's only three that matter, right? And the three trajectories that matter is the prime trajectory, the current trajectory, the next trajectory. So at any one time, you only have one trajectory, and that's what's called the current trajectory. Everything is under the current trajectory. And in essence, at any one moment in space-time and in consciousness, there is only the present. And that present trajectory leads to all other future trajectories. Does that make sense? And that's the current trajectory. Okay?
Yeah.
Then you have the prime trajectory. Everything is interconnected to the prime trajectory, and we're always trying to get the current trajectory back to the prime trajectory because the prime trajectory is everything. It's the prime trajectory is what we are focusing on. That is our primary trajectory of everything that we're doing. So anytime we get off the primary trajectory, perfectly fine. We just need to know what the relationship is between the current trajectory and the prime trajectory so that we understand as we evolve and are changing and moving, we know we don't want to diverge from it completely where we're just going on a tangent and we lose our prime focus. You know?
Yeah.
And so the current trajectory always leads into the next trajectory. So the more you're able to pre-plan where you're going in the next trajectory direction, in other words, the next trajectory is like, you know, tomorrow we have a scheduled executive session. So that would be part of another trajectory. Which trajectory that's part of, we'll have to do that. But then as we go that direction, we just want to make sure it's kind of like changing coordinates. If you're in your spaceship, you're changing your coordinates, you're moving a new direction. You just want to do that with intention. Okay.
Yeah.
So so the next trajectory is all about intention, so that you're intentionally knowing where you're going. Right. But everything comes back to the prime trajectory. The current trajectory is basically where you are now, but the prime trajectory is, and I personally spell it without an E, but it doesn't really matter.
Prime.
The prime trajectory is what we need consensus on. And my opinion is that our prime trajectory really is, you know, our business income. You know, that we need income, we need to have inflow of money to be functional. And until that happens, nothing else is really possible. But remember, the prime trajectory will change as well. Once we have our business income and it's no longer the prime trajectory, we can evolve our prime trajectory. But everything in our scope and everything that we're putting on this list of what we are and are not doing needs to align with the prime trajectory. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and listen to this. So basically, only by changing the terms, and we're saying like what you said. You said that that our methodology is an experience. The trajectories are an experience
Yes.
instead of a category. When you just said, all right, our trajectory is income. I immediately, after all we said, instead of thinking of income like a static, I don't know, cold thing, I immediately thought about it as an experience
Yeah.
when we're gonna get the income. The income, it's happening. Like we're making income. That's how immediately my mind visualized it because of all what we just said. That the trajectory is an experience, the methodology is an experience, and it's just in the vortex. And only by changing this way of describing the methodology, it also changes the way that you're approaching the work and the things we want to accomplish.
Yeah,
Quite,
because
quite amazing.
before the only way to describe this in our vocabulary before was like sit down and prioritize. You need to get organized. You need to get prioritized. You need to list all the different things that you should be doing and categorize them and organize them and make sure that you know what the priorities are so that you get focused on it. The new vocabulary is about understanding the trajectory of where we are now, what are our options for how we're moving forward, and how does it align with the prime trajectory of the organization, right? That's the new vocabulary. So it simplifies the need to know all of the categories and all of the priorities and everything that we used to talk about, where you really just need to know 2 or 3 things. You need to know your current trajectory, where we are now. We need to know the prime trajectory. We need to know basically how to get from A to B, which is the next trajectory. So as long as you know your next step, you're good. You know, so it definitely simplifies the process. And then once people understand it, they should be able to do it themselves much quicker and faster and easier than our old model, which is getting organized with your list of responsibilities and all your priorities. I mean, we still have that. None of that goes away. But all that really matters is what is the current trajectory, how does that relate to the work in the goals that you're going to take on as responsibilities? And then most importantly, how does it align with the prime trajectory? So as long as everybody in the organization is fully in alignment and understanding the prime trajectory as a team, and they understand what the goals and the priorities for the prime trajectory are, everything else should be in alignment. Because then all they need to know is like, hey, what is the current trajectory? What are we currently focused on? And then how does that align with the prime trajectory? And then everything else they should be able to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I fully understand. What I'm saying is that is like a more I don't know, like when we were talking about income before this session. Like if we were talking about income, okay, so I think about income. Perfect. Okay, the income, we need to get income. It's very I don't know, very
Abstract.
once you're abstract. Yeah, very there. Like, okay, something that we need to check, something to make it. When after all you said this, when you now said, all right, our prime project trajectory is income, instead of thinking income like I would have thought about it 2 hours ago, I thought about income, about the experience of how I'm gonna feel when we're bringing income.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and you know that our mind is so strong that if we visualize things, we can manifest them wherever. I mean, it helps, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I, instead of thinking about income, about okay, this thing, this category, this very cold thing, I immediately thought about it as an experience, as something that's happening when so amazing. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
It is definitely exciting for
Very,
sure.
yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah. So I don't think business is quite the right word. I think it's like we could call it, if we want to focus on the vortex, right? We could call it the vortex income instead of the business. We could call it network income. We could call it Mo income. So I mean, all these words are very, very important because they mean different things. Is it income for the Mo? Is it income for the network income? Or is it income, for example, if we're talking about business income, it would really just be income for SVG, right? SVG income. So understanding the prime trajectory and getting agreement on the prime trajectory is very important because the vocabulary matters, because the prime trajectory becomes not only the vision, the goals, it becomes everything. It's like it's basically, I don't want to get into all the other details because that's part of the methodology. We'll get into the details of what a vortex means and a trajectory means later. But anyways, the point is that we just need agreement on what the prime trajectory is. And from that point onward, everything should fall in alignment because we all are all in agreement. Eventually, we'll all be like, okay, this needs to change. We are evolving. Our prime trajectory no longer matches the direction that we needed to go. And so we need to change the prime trajectory, but there has to be one prime trajectory. Otherwise, we are just in the dark, and
Well,
who knows where
I would just call it. I mean, with the premises that it's a prime trajectory, the income, so it's an experience now. I would just call it external income, right? It's coming from external sources. So,
But to where? Where is the external income going towards? So
or,
obviously,
or client income. I don't know, but it can
well,
happen in the network SVG, in other more, in other. I mean,
yeah. So
important
anyways,
is that's
that's the
coming.
thing. So the more specific we can be, the better. So we want very specific trajectories, and we want very few of them, as much as possible. So we want to be as specific as possible with each trajectory, so it's clear. It's kind of, trajectory is kind of like a responsibility, right? Where we want very clear responsibilities, because responsibilities themselves describe what we're doing and what we're accomplishing. So the same should be true with the trajectories, that we want them. The vocabulary itself is very, very important because it describes what it is that we're actually doing. Okay? Anyways, we'll figure it out.
Yes.
I'm not worried
Yeah.
about it. And remember that a prime trajectory is only as important as long as the team agrees to it and as long as it's still applicable. But the moment it's no longer applicable, we choose a new prime trajectory, right? It's like we always can evolve and change our trajectory, and that's part of the beauty of a vortex, and also part of the beauty of FCommUnity network and the whole model we have, that we are flexible, we're dynamic, we can change with whatever society's throwing at us.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
anyways, let's go on to the last topic, which
Yeah.
is this getting
Let's.
started with the list. So basically, I think we probably will end here, but let's focus on the list of models, but we can also at the same time just kind of list everything else on the side. So we'll do kind of 3 and 4 at the same time. But let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and do topic 3. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. 5-minute break.